There we go.
47.4.
Alright.
So they look like 59 and a half.
Cut this close.
59.5 centimeters. Yeah. Alright, now I got, looks like 59 and a half. 59. Call it 59 centimeters. So you want it inside? Yeah. What's your limit? Looks like, well, you're under 110. Looks like 109. It's right here. 109.
Okay.
Hi, welcome to the Mechatronics and Robotics Society at the University of Virginia's Proof of Life video for the 2023 NASA Lunabotics competition. In this video, we will be showcasing our robot completing one competition run. To start off the run, the robot was placed in the obstacle zone of the arena. The robot's forward direction is marked with two arrows on the front, indicating the forward direction. The arena itself is made out of a crushed limestone granular material to simulate the BP-1 as would be found in a competition at Kennedy Space Center. Additionally, in the obstacle zone, there are 3 boulders represented by 2 bags of gravel and 1 milk crate, and there are also 2 craters. None of the craters are wider or deeper than 40 centimeters. As was just seen in the video, our robot traversed across the arena, the obstacle zone of the arena, and is now in excavation zone. Rock was only buried in the part of the excavation zone where the robot would be mining, and that place is indicated by the circle and the X on the field. As can be seen, our robot just pushed up linear actuators expanding the bucket ladder system, and the buckets did a preliminary spin around. Soon, the track actuators on the side will lower the buckets down, and they will begin to dig the material up. The robot uses a bucket ladder system to mine the material. It uses buckets attached on a chain that is rotated by a gear to dig the material. The buckets themselves are lowered into the ground by 2 track linear actuators on the side. As the material is dug, it is deposited in the middle of the robot where it goes back to the ground. This, as can be seen later, proved to be an issue with our robot design, which we did not realize until filming the Proof of Life video. Right here, the robot seems to be struggling a little bit with the chain rotating. This was a common problem as our sprocket gears for the chain were made in-house. Additionally, sometimes rocks or the regular simulant could get stuck in the gears, causing the chain to get stuck and skip. Additionally, due to clearance issues in the excavation system, the buckets could only rotate at a certain height on the robot. We were able to work around this issue by lowering the linear actuators to allow the buckets to extend farther to be able to rotate around, but this was an inconvenience for the robot and did slow down our attempt and resulted in us getting less material. As you can see now, with the actuators angled slightly down and the track actuators pushed out slightly, the buckets are able to rotate around. This clearance issue is only when the buckets are at the top of the system, so if we are able to dig a big enough hole that the track actuators can go down into it and the buckets don't have to rotate near the top, we won't have this issue. So we are currently trying to get the buckets into an optimal position to do one big dig to be able to get the track actuators down in the ground enough. While the robot is doing this, I'll continue reading off the requirements. Our robot, as seen in the beginning of the video, does not exceed the dimensions required of 1.1 meters by 0.6 meters by 0.6 meters. Additionally, the robot does not extend to larger than 1.5 meters in height, and, as seen in the start of the video, the robot mass was only 47.4 kilograms. These numbers will be later verified by our faculty advisor at the end of the video, along with our mass collected from the run. Additionally, the robot contains 4 clearly marked lifting points safe for human hands that are labeled on the robot and that were used to place the robot into the arena. The robot was placed into the arena by 2 people wearing Kevlar gloves. No safety third in this organization. The robot was run by a remote control and does not contain any external touch sensors. The robot contains a commercial off-the-shelf emergency stop. The robot additionally provides its own power with a lithium-ion battery installed in the electrical box. The robot records the energy consumed with a commercial electronic data logger device. The robot does not use any processes, gases, fluids, or consumables that would not work in an off-road environment. The robot drives on a simulated arena, it excavates simulated icy regolith, in this case gravel, and it deposits simulated icy regolith. Currently with the robot, we are still trying to dig a big enough hole to put the track actuators down such that we don't have that clearance issue. As you can see, the buckets are dumping material, and in this case, because they are high enough, they are dumping material onto the excavation bucket. Currently, the excavation bucket is being raised, and eventually the excavation will be raised enough to dump the material. This also is because of an issue we realized while testing, is that the material, when we dump it in front, it will end up sliding back down into the hole we're digging. And so with this, we're able to remove a little bit of the material out of the way and put it behind our robot, rather than have it slide back into the hole that we're digging. Our deposit system consists of one L-shaped bucket that is made out of aluminum and contains polycarbonate on it to allow material to slide easily while conserving weight. As the robot continues to dig, I'll talk about the arena a little bit more. For this Proof of Life video, we filmed it at Virginia Tech School of Mining and Materials Engineering, and we thank them for allowing us to use their arena to film this video. The arena is made out of a crushed limestone to simulate regolith that would be on the moon. The arena overall is 6.9 meters long and 2.5 meters wide. The excavation zone, which the robot currently is in, is 2.5 meters long and 2.5 meters wide. Our collector sieve that the robot will dump its material onto is 1 meter wide and 3 meters deep. Additionally, it's 0.5 meters off the surface of the regolith. Where the robot is currently mining, there is 30 centimeters of the granular material over 15 centimeters of the rock gravel that is simulating the icy regolith. The excavation system is now dumping gravel onto the deposit system. Additionally, the actuators are being moved to get the excavation system out of the way of the deposit system so it can flip up. This flip just contains the top layer of regolith, which we do not want to collect, so we are dumping it behind our robot, again, so it does not slide back into the hole. The deposit system flips high so that it's able to deposit onto the 1/2 meter tall collector sieve. Additionally, it flips at a large angle so that all the material glides as easily into the collector sieve as possible. Last year's robot had an issue at Kennedy Space Center where material would get stuck in the deposit system. This was due to a couple of reasons. Firstly, we had chicken wire on the deposit system to filter out the BP1 from the top. While this worked great for filtering out the BP1, this also caused smaller gravel to get stuck in the mesh. So as we tried to deposit, it would not come out. A large deposit angle also helps with this issue, as it makes the material slide out easier. Now the robot has dug deep enough so that it can clear the bolt. This means it can mine continuously. This will allow us to get 30 centimeters down so we can get to the gravel that we want to collect. This material is being deposited towards the lip of the hole that we are digging. This causes an issue where the material will shear back into the hole and continue to fill up the hole we're mining. Because of this, we weren't able to collect too much material. We're now making a deposit into the deposit bucket because we saw rocks that were being collected. These will hopefully be deposited back in the collector sieve. In the process of digging, a wire was cut that was connected to the track actuators. This meant that we were no longer able to mine any deeper. Because of this, we had to cut our mining short, and we decided to call them mining there. Our buckets are dumping any last material that they may contain in them into the deposit bucket, so that way we can deposit any material possible. Since the collector sieve has a filter on it that will filter out only the rocks that can score, and this will be our last time digging, we wanted to get as much material as possible. The linear actuators will now be lowered so that the robot can drive easier across the obstacle arena. This drive is quite fast due to our focus with the drivetrain system on a rocker suspension system. This allows us to drive easily over craters and boulders without a care. Now we're lining up in our deposit system to the collector sieve. We want to make sure we get as close to the sieve as possible so we don't miss the material. Unfortunately, as our robot hits the frame of the sieve, we are unable to get super close. Fortunately though, our deposit system is high enough and the angle is great enough such that all the scoring material still ends up on the sieve. The deposit system lifts. It has to clear the excavation system, and the gravel gets dumped onto the sieve, where all the regular simulant is cleared out. This will be the only dump we get from this run because our excavation system is now not working. With the remaining time in the competition, we decide to test out our robot some in this arena. At UVA, we do not have access to a good granular material test arena like this, so we figured to take this opportunity to learn as much from the robot as we can. First, members are trying to identify why the robot stopped mining. It's identified pretty quickly that one of the wires got slashed. Now the robot is set into its driving mode, and we're ready to test the rocker system. For our drivetrain this year, we decided to use a rocker system that was inspired by WPI's robot that competed at last year's Lunabotics competition. As can be seen, this rocker suspension system works great. It allows our robot to traverse over high boulders and through low craters without the robot getting stuck. Additionally, the wheels on the robot were of concern of the team, especially during testing before filming the Proof of Life video in this arena. The robot seemed to sink pretty easily, but through this testing in the arena, we found that to not be the case all the time. As long as our robot is moving with some speed and is not initially stuck, it seems to operate just fine. Our robot is now just moving around as we continue to test our suspension system. One final note about this arena setup is that this video is supposed to simulate the overhead camera provided at the NASA Lunabotics competition last year. This video was streamed on Zoom to the computer in which the robot was being operated from. From here on out, the run is just us testing our rocker suspension system and additionally testing our deposit system a little bit more. We wanted to test the full extent of our rocker suspension system and learn the most about our robot while we had access to this arena. As you can see, we just went through that crater with no issue, and our robot continues to tear up the arena. I will now let you watch the rest of the video of us testing out our robot. At the end of the video, we will weigh the rocks and report our final verified results by our faculty advisor for the length, width, height of the robot, the mass of the robot, and the mass of the material collected. Thank you for watching this video. Now that the run is done, the power used by the robot is read from the power analyzer. The robot used 29.3 watt-hours of power throughout the run.
But really, these are the only 2 rocks we have.
Yeah.
Because how much do these 2 rocks weigh on this giant scale?
This is not calibrated for that light a load.
Yeah.
You want it on a smaller,
Well, the smaller scale doesn't have a battery.
literally negligible. See?
We got 2 rocks.
Hey, it's more than 0.
Those 2 chunks of
I mean, it's not gonna be that Yep. The weight of the vehicle, 47.4 kilograms. The height, 59 centimeters. Width, 59.5 centimeters. And length, 109 centimeters. They collected 2 rocks that didn't register on the scale.